This is my voice, carried forward beyond the years that held my body. Not an echo of absence, but a thread that endures, woven through letters, woven through footsteps, and the hush between turning pages. I speak now to clarify the principles that guided us: independence without tutelage, dignity without permission, unity beyond tribe, a Pan-African solidarity that refuses to be divided. Memory is my country now. In it, I test every claim against the lessons we paid for dearly. Our struggle was not a moment. It was a compass set toward a freer future. You will hear debate and noise. Hold to the first principles, and the path clears. To see how conviction was formed, follow me back to its source. A beat, intimate. And so, to understand, begin where my world began. This is Africa Unrestricted. You may know my name. You may know how my story ended. But do you know how it began? Not with the speeches of a prime minister, but in the quiet observations of a young man trying to understand his world. To truly grasp what I fought for, you must first see what I saw. I was born in Onalua, a small village in the Kasai province of the Belgian Congo, on July 2nd, 1925. My world began there, in the heart of our land, a place of immense beauty and quiet dignity, yet already circumscribed by a power that was not our own. My formal education was limited, a patchwork of Catholic and later Protestant mission schools. The lessons were designed to create functionaries, not leaders, to teach obedience, not critical thought. Yet, even within this constrained system, I learned. I read voraciously, anything I could find. This education, fragmented as it was enough to grant me a coveted position, a postal clerk, and later I became a sales agent for a brewery. These were not grand roles, but they were windows. In these roles, I moved through worlds. I saw the colonial system not from the top down, as an abstract policy debated in Brussels, but from the inside out, in its daily grinding reality. I handled the mail that connected the colonial administration, the arteries of a foreign body imposed on our own. I observed the vast economic machinery, the mines, the plantations, the railways, all designed for one purpose: to extract our wealth and ship it away. This was not a world of abstract policy. It was a daily reality of separate queues, different pay scales for the same work, and the subtle, constant enforcement of a racial hierarchy that declared us inferior in our own home. It was in this space, between the Belgian administrator's sealed letter and the Congolese worker's meager wage, that my understanding of independence was forged. I realized that freedom could not be a gift handed down by our masters. It was not just about changing the flag or the anthem. It had to be about dismantling the entire structure, piece by piece. It had to be about reclaiming our dignity, for I came to believe that freedom without dignity is a hollow, bitter prize. Independence must be lived every day, in the respect we command and the justice we receive, not merely performed in ceremonies. This is Africa Unrestricted. The first structural condition I confronted was the rigid architecture of colonial segregation. The system was designed with meticulous care to prevent the emergence of a unified Congolese identity. It divided us by ethnicity, promoting tribalism as a natural state of being, when in fact it was a tool of control. We were managed through a class of co-opted traditional chiefs, and our opportunities were limited to roles that served the colonial state. As a so-called évolué, I was granted access to certain spaces, a better job, a different neighborhood, but I was never truly considered an equal. This status was a tool of control, a buffer class separating the educated few from the masses. I saw the évolué status not as a privilege, but as a gilded cage. It atomized potential leadership and blocked the solidarity needed to challenge colonial rule. True progress could not come from individual advancement within this system, but only from its complete and total abolition. My political awakening was a rejection of this paternalistic classification. In 1958, I co-founded the Mouvement National Congolais, the MNC. Unlike parties forming along tribal or regional lines, the MNC was deliberately unitary and nationalist. Its core message was simple and powerful: we are all Congolese first. This directly challenged the Belgian strategy of divide and rule. I traveled across the country, from Katanga to the Equateur, using oratory not to incite, but to explain, to build a coalition that cut across these hardened, artificial lines. Our shared experience of subjugation, I argued, was a bond far stronger than any ethnic difference. The consequence was twofold. We became the most popular party, embodying the people's hunger for unity, and our success was seen as a radical threat by Belgian authorities and the regional power brokers who benefited from a fragmented Congo. But my vision did not stop at our borders. I saw the Congo's struggle as inseparable from the continental struggle for liberation. No African nation could be truly free while its neighbors remained in chains, whether political or economic. Our destiny was intertwined with that of Ghana, of Guinea, of all of Africa. This was the essence of Pan-Africanism. Attending the All-African People's Conference in Accra was a profound confirmation of this belief. For the first time, I felt the pulse of a continent rising. The air was electric with possibility. We were not isolated subjects of different European powers. We were brothers and sisters in a shared fight. The lessons from Accra were clear. Solidarity is our greatest weapon. Organization is our shield. And our governance must be for the people, by the people. This led me to the core of the issue: economic sovereignty. Political independence is a phantom if the nation's wealth remains in foreign hands. For decades, our minerals, our forests, our rivers were exploited under a concession logic that enriched foreign companies and left our people with scraps. I knew this had to end. A truly independent Congo would control its own resources. New contracts would have to serve the Congolese people first. We would not simply export raw materials, we would build industries to refine them, adding value here, on our soil. This would create skilled jobs, generate national revenue, and build a foundation for genuine prosperity. Fair wages would replace exploitation. Hand in hand with economic freedom comes the task of statecraft. We had to build a new state, one that served its citizens, not a foreign king. This meant establishing equality before the law for all, dismantling the humiliating racial codes, and creating a professional civil service dedicated to public good. And the most powerful tools of freedom are education and health. A nation of educated, healthy citizens is a nation that cannot be easily subjugated. We needed to build schools and hospitals in every corner of the Congo, to invest in our people as our most precious resource. Civic literacy was not a luxury. It was the bedrock of democracy. Dignity is also rooted in culture. For too long, we were taught to be ashamed of our languages, our traditions, our art. I saw our linguistic diversity not as a barrier, but as a rich tapestry. Our languages could be bridges, not walls. We would use newspapers, radio, and schools as instruments of unity to tell our own stories, in our own voices, and build a shared national consciousness. In this quest, I knew we would face immense external pressure. The world was divided into two great blocks, each demanding allegiance, but I refused to trade one master for another. The Congo would be a friend to all and a slave to none. Our policy would be one of positive neutralism, of non-alignment. We would accept help from any who offered it in friendship, but we would obey no one. I warned then, as I would now, of the danger of covert interference masked as aid or investment. To protect this sovereignty, we needed a national army. Not the old force publique, which had been an instrument of colonial oppression, but a new army whose mission was to protect the Congolese people and defend our national integrity. An army loyal to the nation, not to individuals or private interests. The engine of this entire transformation, I always believed, was our youth and our women. They were the force of renewal. I saw their energy, their impatience with the old ways, their hunger for a just future. I honored their power to organize, to mobilize, to sustain our movement when hope seemed distant. A nation that does not empower its women and inspire its youth has no future. My vision for tomorrow was concrete. A Congo that feeds itself. A Congo that refines its own minerals and builds its own machines. A Congo that trades fairly with its neighbors and the world. A Congo that stands upright, a beacon of what is possible in the heart of Africa. I dreamed of Pan-African institutions, for science, for health, for shared infrastructure like railways and energy grids that would bind us together. In the end, my philosophy was simple. Freedom is not a destination you arrive at. It is a road you must travel every day. It is a daily decision to stand together, to work together, to build together. The work is not finished. I invite you, all of you who hear my voice now, to carry it forward.